Hey everyone, my name's Austin and this channel is all about helping you to dig deeper and go further to better understand faith and film and everything in between. If that is exciting to you, you're in the right place and you can subscribe to my channel for a new video just like this one every Friday. Somehow, it has been nearly 4 months since I have done a new video in my Lord of the Rings series. My apologies for those who have been wondering where that is, and I have picked up a lot of new subscribers since then, so hopefully this will be an exciting way for you to get more of an in-depth look at some of the movies I am most passionate about. From now on, I will make sure to post one video for this series specifically once a month. Now, without further ado, let's continue talking about Lord of the Rings and why it is the best. Aragorn. We are finally introducing our Aragorn character. He's my favorite character in the whole trilogy. And what we're going to focus on in this video is the correlation between the character of Aragorn and the Nazgul or the Ring Wraiths, and specifically the topic of servanthood. The last video left off with Frodo and his friends arriving at the Prancing Pony to meet Gandalf, but when they arrive he is not there, and so while they're trying to figure out what they're going to do next, they come across Strider, or as we come to know him, Aragorn. Aragorn quickly finds out what they're carrying and tells them that they cannot wait for Gandalf. He offers them his protection, for he knows what hunts them. Next, we see the Nazgul approach the city of Bree and infiltrate the Prancing Pony. What I love so much about this scene and the previous scene where Aragorn was introduced is how much we learn about Aragorn's character almost immediately. He has just met these hobbits and already he is willing to shelter and protect them. He recognizes the immediate danger that they are in and is willing to do everything in his power to ensure their well-being. Also, that editing trick used to make us think that the wraiths are coming in and stabbing all the hobbits while they sleep in their beds, brilliant. So, the shrieking of the wraiths after they are tricked into thinking they are killing the hobbits awakens them, and they ask Strider, what are they? He tells them how they used to be great kings until they were deceived with greed by rings of power from Sauron, and how one by one they fell to his will and became slaves, who were neither living nor dead. He goes on to say how they're drawn to the power of the ring at all times, seeking it. Now, there are two different forms of servanthood shown here. One of good and one of evil. Now, having either read these books or seen these movies, we know that Aragorn is the secret heir of Gondor and is destined to be king. And remember, Aragorn just finished telling the hobbits that these wraiths used to be kings of men, but fell to slavery for the ring. Quick side plug here, I actually put many extra hours into the preparation of this video, going through different Bible verses and a devotional that I have called Walking with Frodo. So no paid promotion here, but I highly recommend both of those books, especially the first one. But referring back to these studies that I used to do, I gained a lot more insight and it was very refreshing for me as far as getting my thoughts out, and it was really helpful. Now, in chapter 6 of the book of Matthew in the Bible, Jesus talks about where we choose to lay our treasure, saying that where you choose to lay your treasure, there your heart will be also. The Nazgul were deceived because of their impure desires and greed. Because of this, their servanthood was transferred from the people they led to Sauron and the Ring. Now, on the flip side, we have Aragorn. Though he fears taking on his full duties as king of Gondor, he still seeks to care for the needs of his people. He does not use his position to further himself, but instead to help and further others. And man, if that is not a challenge for us today, I don't know what is. In a world filled with a message of looking out for yourself, we need that reminder to look out and care for others. I know I personally do. It can be very hard to not be self-focused and self-centered and really put that close and careful attention on other people. Philippians 2:3 puts it perfectly. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. That was all I was going to say with that verse, but actually I was opening up my Bible just to look around the context of that, and there's actually a lot of really cool, interesting stuff. So this whole chapter, this whole section, kind of chapter here, goes on to talk about how Jesus came to us in the form of human, but he was also a form of God. And He didn't count that equality that he had with God as something that gave him this high standing or power or status, but he emptied himself, taking that form of a servant. And being in that form, he humbled himself in countless different ways. And because of all that, he was elevated to this place of power by God to be king of all the earth. So I was skimming kind of all those verses and I was like, man, this is even more upon the character of Aragorn. I feel like that he steps down from this place of power. It's different because Aragorn does it out of fear, and because he is fully human, he needs to go through that process of growth and development and learning to not only find that in himself, that is what he wants, but recognizing that he wants people to see him in the right way. He doesn't want to be in this place of power where he could be corrupted and be led down a similar path as that of the Nazgul and the Wraiths. Man, I'm glad I looked at that again because that gave us some really cool, interesting thoughts to talk about. So here's what we learned from Aragorn and the Nazgul today. And another reason why Lord of the Rings is the best. We are all given a form of greatness, and with it, we can do great good or we can do great evil. We can allow ourselves to be twisted to the will of darkness like the Nazgul, or instead choose to use our greatness to serve and lead others to discover the greatness in themselves like Aragorn does for all those he can. I hope that this has impacted you in some way, and I also hope that you have enjoyed this first look at the character of Aragorn. If you did and you have missed out on previous episodes in this series, go back to get the full context. I started at the very beginning of the first movie, and I plan to go through this entire trilogy. Hopefully it's going to be sooner rather than later when we get there. We shall see as we move forward. I will link to the playlist at the end of this video and the description below. Getting back into this series was incredibly exciting for me. These are my favorite movies and I loved digging deep into them and learning new things for myself and being able to share that insight with others. Thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. As always, if you're looking to dig deeper and go further to better understand faith and film and everything that is in between, you're in the right place and you can subscribe for a new video just like this one every Friday. Thank you again. I'll see you in the next video.